Hi, welcome to AskTom TV, where we answer AskTom questions in a way that hopefully you can see how we answer the question instead of just giving you the solution.
So what have you got for us today?
Well, today I thought we'd do a little bit of string parsing in AskTom. It's a fairly common problem. Someone comes in with some unstructured data and they want to be able to extract some useful information from it. Just with some, this isn't about JSON or stuff like that just yet. This is just some simple string parsing, so I thought we'd talk about that. So zoom in and I'll show you what the problem was. So the incoming string was just a series of letters indicating when someone was working or not working. So W, W, not working, working, not working, working, etc. And from a week starting on Sunday, they wanted to reformat that into, well, Sunday they were working, Monday they were working, Tuesday they weren't working, so skip that, Wednesday they were working, Thursday they weren't working, and Friday they were working, and so on. So let's see how we would do that. So first you can see I'll create a table here called T. It's got 3 sets of sample rows in it.
And why have 3 rows of data?
Oh, the reason we would do 3 sets of sample rows is I get to test various permutations of my code then. I can make sure that I'm not making assumptions like, oh, it starts with a W or the first working day must always be working, etc. This way I can test various combinations and make sure my code works in all examples. So I can query my table and you can see we've got some permutations there. So the first thing I'm going to do is look for the commas, because if I know where the commas are, that's going to be critical for actually parsing this into each day's indicator, whether it's working or not working.
Aren't we looking for W and NW? Why the commas?
Well, yeah, that's true. We are looking for the W's and the NW's, but the only thing that delineates between them is the commas. So we need the commas first, and then we can delineate. So let's see how we do that. One of the things I would normally do is I'll use a with statement if I'm going to build up a SQL. I might not end up with this as my final result, but I like using the with statement because it lets me sort of build in modules my SQL and bring it all together at the end. So I'm going to look for all the comma positions. So what I'll do is I'll select the tag, and then I'll use INSTR to find the commas. So I'll use INSTR, look in the tag, look for a comma, starting at character 1, looking for the first occurrence of a comma. Now I didn't need those last 2 parameters, but you'll see why I did it in a second. So that's going to be the first occurrence, the first index into a comma, hence I1. Now I can just cut and paste that 5 more times, because then I can use the syntax to say I'm looking for the second occurrence of a comma, the third occurrence, the fourth occurrence, the fifth, and the 6th, and I'll give them each a column name as well. And that's why I kept the syntax. So in each case I'm starting from the first character.
Why only 6 calls to INSTR?
Oh, why only 6? Well, if we're doing 1 week's worth of data, 7 days, there's only 6 commas in there, so that's all we need. So let's query that from tag, and let's have a look at how that looks so far. Okay, so now that we know the comma positions, all I really need to do is find the individual elements and recast them into the particular days that we're after. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of that last line. Let's now say we're going to format that information as day format stuff. I'll get the tag again just to see what's going on. So let's do when substring of the tag starting from 1 going up to position 1. If that's a working day, and because the INSTR includes the position of the comma, I'll keep that there, then we know that it's a Sunday. And we know it's going to have a slash just in case there's following days. So we do that, and there's going to be our first day just in case. So we'll do this all the way down, another 6, and this time what we've got is, we know that we want to start at position I1, so that one will be I2, that one will be I3, I4, I5, and I6. Now, the distance here is the distance between 2 commas, so this will be I2 minus I1, I3 minus I2, I4 minus I3, and the last one it's just all the way to the end of the string. Now in this case, because we're starting with a comma, it'll be comma W, and so forth. And what have we got? We've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And there we go. So let's have a look at that and see how it looks so far. Right. And you can see we're already very, very close to our answer. The only problem we've had is we have effectively a trailing slash which we'd like to get rid of. So what we'll do is we'll simply, in here, put an R trim around the whole lot. Get rid of the trailing slash. We'll call that the formatted result. Give it another run. And there we have it. There's our tag and there's our formatted result. So a simple example of how to do string parsing, but just the power of INSTR, especially being able to look along for the nth occurrence of a particular result. There you go, AskTom TV. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon.